and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavour show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into an audio source that, well, at first listen, might seem like just a simple slice of British village life.
Right, just your average day.
Exactly. But as we get into it, you'll discover it's actually packed with surprising examples of quick thinking, resilience, and even a bit of nail-biting drama.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about excerpts from The Archers, you know, the long-running BBC Radio 4 drama set in the fictional village of Ambridge.
That's the one. A British institution, really.
It really is. And our mission today is to sort of uncover how a seemingly straightforward cricket match day, well, how it transformed into this testament to ingenuity and the sheer power of improvisation.
Both in the kitchen and out on the field. It happens on both fronts.
Absolutely. So we've got culinary crises, unexpected heroics. We're going to explore what happens when plans just go completely awry and how a community rallies when the chips are down.
Should be interesting. Get ready for some delightful details, unexpected turns, and yeah, a real sense of triumph over the odds.
It's a fascinating look at human nature under pressure, isn't it?
It really is. You see how quickly people adapt or sometimes, struggle to find solutions when the unexpected hits.
Yeah.
It's like a microcosm of real-world challenges, just played out in this very quintessentially British setting.
That's a great way to put it, a microcosm. And speaking of quintessentially British, where else would we start with a sporting event than the cricket tee?
Oh, absolutely. The tea is crucial.
This episode throws us right into the thick of it, a kind of culinary catastrophe brewing in the bar with Joy and Kenton. What's the initial situation there?
Well, it opens with a classic problem. The scones. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
The plain ones were fine, mostly. But some of the fruit ones had, as Joy put it, caught a bit at the edges.
Slightly burnt.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. The plan was simple, though, just a jam and cream fillings, keep it classic. But you can already sense a little bit of underlying, maybe, stress.
And of course, it wouldn't be a proper scone discussion without the big debate. Jam first or cream first? Exactly. You have to have the debate. It really captures the essence of these cultural things, doesn't it?
It does. So what was the verdict in Ambridge?
Well, Joy was very clear. Jam, obviously.
Obviously.
And her reasoning wasn't just personal taste. She actually cited the late Queen's preference.
No way. Where did you get that from?
Apparently, it was a pub quiz question. One that another character, Mick, got wrong. It even earned them this nickname, Joy's Royal Stawn.
That's brilliant. It shows how these little rituals become quite important, doesn't it? Like markers of tradition.
Totally. For Joy, citing the Queen, it's like the ultimate authority. It elevates the whole scone thing, makes it almost ceremonial.
Right. So, okay, the scone situation is sort of simmering, but then the real crisis hits with the pies. Kenton's Fallon specials.
Ah, yes, the pies. Kenton, who runs the pub, the Bull, he'd made these himself.
Using Fallon's fillings, right. She's the local chef.
That's right. Fallon's known for her inventive cooking. Kenton had used her freezer fillings, and he proudly says he made 36 pies.
36. Sounds like a decent number.
Well, that's what he thought. He figured, 2 teams, scorers, umpires, officials. 36 should cover it.
But there's always a but.
There's always a but. The critical mistake was, first, the size. They were described as tiny, dainty Mia morsels. Really small.
Okay.
And second, he completely forgot about, well, the extra people.
Ah, the dreaded extras, the Klingons, as the script calls them.
Exactly, the Klingons. It's such a great term, the extras, the wags, the family members, the friends, everyone who just sort of shows up and expects to get fed.
Happens all the time with catering, doesn't it? You forget the hangers on.
Always.
Oh.
So suddenly, 36 tiny pies. Nowhere near enough. And the pastry was frozen, fillings were running low. They were in a proper pickle.
A real catering nightmare. So faced with this impending disaster, it sounds like Joy really steps up.
Oh, Joy is the hero of the hour here. Her quick thinking is just, brilliant.
What did she do?
Kenton's panicking, and Joy just asks, have we got eggs? Milk. And then she suggests it. Mini Yorkshire puddings.
Mini Yorkshires. Genius.
Absolutely. Because they're so quick to make once the batter has rested, especially the mini ones. It just shows, under pressure, sometimes you have to pivot completely, use the basics in a new way.
Resourceful. And what about fillings? They couldn't just serve empty Yorkshires.
No, exactly. They had to get creative there, too, with what was left. They considered things like chicken and garlic sauce, like a little vol au vent.
Ooh, fancy.
Or chili with kidney beans, even tomato and mushroom. Onion gravy was the first thought, but maybe too messy for finger food.
Right, yeah. Tricky.
So they landed on using Fallon's onion chutney with cheese, specifically camembert or bouche bleu.
Nice. That sounds pretty good, actually. A great example of making do.
Definitely. Limited resources sparking real creativity.
And just as they're figuring this out, Fallon herself turns up. The chef who was supposed to be away.
Yeah, total surprise. She was meant to be on this, luxury hotel break.
So why was she back? And why didn't they tell her about the tea?
Well, she just checked out early, before noon, apparently. Kenton and Joy hadn't told her because they genuinely wanted her to have a proper rest, a real break from the kitchen chaos.
That's quite thoughtful, actually.
It is, but then of course she walks into this slight chaos. And what does she do? She just immediately pitches in, no complaints.
That really says something about the community spirit, doesn't it?
It really does. That sense of shared responsibility. Everyone mucks in.
So, okay, the kitchen drama seems to be narrowly averted thanks to Joy and now Fallon. The focus then shifts to the pitch, right?
Right, and the cricket match itself was shaping up to be just as, fraught with unexpected twists. Another test for Ambridge.
The match had been moved, hadn't it?
Yeah.
From Francesa to Ambridge. Was that seen as a good thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. A home advantage. Linda, especially, she's a big personality in the village, often involved in organizing things.
Right, I remember Linda.
She was very optimistic, thought playing at home would give them the wind beneath our wings, lead them to victory with the crowd behind them.
And Linda has high standards, particularly for things like the cricket tea, I gather.
Oh, absolutely. She's described as the fountain of all knowledge when it comes to cricket teas, and she'd been bigging ours up for weeks.
Ah, so the pressure was on.
Massively. She wanted the chance to show off a bit. Her reputation was kind of on the line, both for the tea and the match. Everything had to be perfect.
But despite Linda's optimism, Will, one of the key players, wasn't feeling it, was he?
No, not at all. He was pretty defeatist, actually. Said they'd had a disastrous couple of weeks leading up to it.
So the team morale was low.
Seems like it. Linda tried to boost confidence, hoping Freddie's, that's Will's son, the captain, hoping his rousing team speech would work. But Will wasn't convinced. He knew the opposition wasn't even that strong, which almost made it worse,
Yeah, that feeling of dread.
Exactly. Real apprehension.
And then, just when they're preparing, they get what was called a death blow. What happened?
Just terrible news. Tom, who's their best batsman, suddenly couldn't play. His partner, Nova, was unwell.
Oh no.
Right before the match.
Right before massive blow. Left the team completely scrambling for a replacement. It felt like their chances just evaporated.
So it's a desperate search for a substitute? This must have been tense.
Super tense. They needed someone, ideally a former player who is still registered with the county team.
Who did they try?
Well, they asked Pat Archer first. The village matriarch. She refused. In no uncertain terms. Quite definite about it.
Ouch. Anyone else?
They thought about Jolene, another key figure, but after Pat's refusal, they didn't even bother asking her. It looked like they might have to play with only 10 players.
Which is a huge disadvantage in cricket.
Huge. Things looked bleak.
But then, a twist. A miracle player arrives.
Exactly. Just when all hope seems lost, Harrison turns up. Fallon actually brought him back. Everyone was just amazed to see him.
Harrison, wasn't there some awkwardness around him? Some past history?
Yes, that's why his arrival was so dramatic and why he was reluctant. There was this awkwardness because of a past event involving another character, George. It had caused a lot of tension.
Ah, yeah.
So Harrison was worried, about stirring things up again, putting anyone's nose out of joint by suddenly reappearing and playing. It's that weight of personal history in a small community.
Makes sense. But Linda wasn't having any of that reluctance, was she?
Not a bit. Linda the Persuader gets to work. She's relentless.
How did she convince him?
She basically assured him no one will mind, and very cleverly promised she'd sort of manage Freddie, the captain, make Freddie think it was his idea to ask Harrison.
Classic Linda.
Totally. She even suggested Harrison could open the bowling, move up the batting order, though Harrison, to his credit, deferred those decisions to Freddie.
So Linda secures the player. She's determined.
Absolutely. Anything for the team's success. Or maybe for her success in hosting a winning match day. Probably a bit of both.
Probably. And this sets up a dramatic finish, doesn't it?
Oh, incredibly dramatic. The match goes on. Molly Button apparently plays really well.
Good for her.
But it comes right down to the wire. The tension is just palpable. Ambridge needs 4 runs to win from the last 2 balls.
Okay.
Close. Then it's 1 ball left. 3 runs needed to win.
Oh my goodness. You could cut the tension with a knife.
Exactly. You can almost hear the village holding its breath.
And the winning shot. Don't keep us in suspense.
It's Harrison. The reluctant hero steps up, hits a 4 off the very last ball.
Yes, he did it.
Victory. Just absolute magic, as they described it. A proper last gasp triumph.
Wow, what a finish. So after all that drama, they actually win. What's the mood like then?
Oh, just immediate celebration, Huge relief. Linda naturally declares drinks are on her.
Of course she does.
Yeah, just general happiness, that feeling that the win makes up for the earlier losses. A collective sigh of relief all around.
And then there's that little humorous moment about who actually gets the credit for Harrison playing.
Yes. It's very subtle, very Ambridge. Linda immediately says something like, I knew Freddie would make the right decision. Didn't I say so, Will?
And what does Will say?
Will just replies, very dryly, I'm sure you did, Linda.
Huh. Leaving you to wonder if Freddie really decided, or if Linda just maneuvered everyone.
Exactly. It's a perfect little touch of realistic human dynamics.
But despite the win, Will, ever the pragmatist, still has some reservations, doesn't he?
He does. He's quite candid about it. He admits they won by the skin of our teeth.
Right.
And against a team that was, frankly, bumping along the bottom of the league with them. He points out they only really won because Harrison, the former captain, came back.
So, not exactly a sign of the team turning a corner on its own.
That's Will's point. And he also mentions it still feels a bit awkward having Harrison around because of the whole George situation. He sees the slightly less glamorous reality behind the celebration.
It wasn't a clean win, based purely on their current strength. So, Harrison, the hero of the day, is he back in Ambridge for good?
Ah, no. Fallon confirms it's only for a few days. Apparently he's been missing Ambridge, which is interesting, suggests a pullback.
Maybe, but just a visit for now.
Just a short visit. Leaves that question hanging, doesn't it? His future.
It does. But, okay, despite Will's more measured view, there's still plenty of praise for the day's other saviors.
Yeah.
Especially Joy.
Oh, absolutely. Joy gets huge, well-deserved credit for her fantastic mini Yorkshire puddings.
They must have been good.
Apparently. Kenton admits he was wrong to doubt her idea. People especially loved the bacon and egg ones and the Bucha blue cheese ones. Even Linda, despite her own tea ambitions, acknowledges Joy's quick thinking. She calls the whole thing a day of triumphs over the odds one way and another. Joy's improvisation really did save the tea, maybe the whole mood of the day.
Definitely a day of triumphs then, both culinary and sporting.
So what does this all mean? I mean, our deep dive into this Ambridge cricket match day, it really shows much more than just a game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels bigger than that.
It's a fantastic illustration of how unforeseen challenges can spark incredible creativity and collaboration, within a community.
From Joy's brilliant food pivot, saving the tea from the Klingons.
Right. To Harrison's unexpected return and those last ball heroics, it's all about improvisation, isn't it? And that community spirit kicking in.
It reminds us that sometimes the biggest victories, they aren't just about the scoreboard or, having a perfect plan. It's about how we adapt when things go wrong.
Finding those hidden strengths, those surprising solutions, often in each other.
Which sort of raises an important question, maybe for all of us listening. When we do manage to win against the odds, like Ambridge did here, does the way we got there actually matter?
You mean like the last-minute scrambles, the personal tensions, having to rely on a returning hero? Does that change how success feels?
Exactly. Does it change the taste of success? Or at the end of the day, is winning the only thing that really counts?
That's a good question. Something to think about, definitely. We invite you, the listener, to consider your own experiences with those kinds of unexpected triumphs and maybe the complex human stuff that often sits underneath them.
So, what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just moving mics around.
So, what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the arches, just any
Are you what we call Foley then?
kind of, yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production?
Yep, that's the ball bar. That's,
This one?
yep, that's...
Hayley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever